Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Mafex Batman The Dark Knight Returns figure unboxing and review. Now today we are taking a look at none other than the big blue Boy Scout himself, Superman. Yeah, I'm really excited. You all know I love Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, the art style just speaks to me, so yeah, I really want to get this guy out here. Now if you are heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, it is simple, but I really like it. I think it suits the overall aesthetic, the grown-up nature of The Dark Knight Returns. Down below, The Dark Knight Returns, an image of the figure, then smack bang in the middle, an open window showcasing the figure inside. On the side of the box, an image of Supes flying and another Dark Knight Returns logo. On the back, a bunch of product shots, as well as a couple showcasing the various accessories. Now, on the inside, we do have another piece of artwork ripped directly from The Dark Knight Returns. Now, I like that Mafex does this. It's kind of hidden inside the box, but it just makes the overall package feel that little bit more classy. Now, I know not everyone loves the big, beefy, swole version of Supes from The Dark Knight Returns, but I do, so I was really excited to get this guy in, and now that he's here, I can already tell you, yeah, I'm pretty happy. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, it's the usual Mafex style stand. The bottom is translucent plastic. You've got multiple points that you can plug the arm into. The arm is multi-jointed, and if you find it's a little bit loose, you can tighten each point. There's just a Phillips head screw. Up the top, you do have a waist clamp. However, if you decide, no, I don't want Superman flying, you also get a clear rod with that same waist clamp, so you can have him simply standing. I'm pretty sure that's just a new thing Mafex are doing going forward with their display bases. You can have the flight pole arm or the pole, it's entirely up to you. Now with Supes you get two different head sculpts, and I like them both. This one, though, is my favourite, just the regular neutral expression. I like the skin tone, I like the shading, and his S-curl is huge. That's perfect for Dark Knight Returns. You also have some of that blue shading that we saw on Hush, and the print for the eyes is stunning. We also get the battle damage head sculpt, and it looks all kinds of nasty, but that works perfect here. I also like the print for the teeth, and they've even printed individual strands for his eyebrows. That's a really nice touch at this teeny scale. You also have two completely different S-curls. This one is a lot more disheveled, whereas this one is way more stylized. You do get the kryptonite arrow, and while it looks like it's glowing, I promise it isn't. The green paint is just really vibrant. Now the rod section is done in white, but it is chipping just a little, and I'll explain why that's the case in just a second. Now down below for the feathers, they're done in tan with some brown washes in the crevices. Overall, it looks really good. It is simple, but it gets the job done. Now in order to install this in his hand, he does have hands specifically designed to hold it. You remove the top section, slide it in, then reinstall this piece. Now, it's a really tight fit, and yes, that's why the paint is chipping. If you do plan on using this arrow, try not to slide it in and out of the hands a bunch, cause yeah, mine is looking really ugly. You do of course get some additional hands, the skin tone looks good, there is shading in the crevices and of course on the palms as well. It is subtle, but it's definitely there. I also like that Mafex include these little bracket pieces, so it stretches out the holes that the wrist pegs go into, so you don't have to heat them up. They're already pre-stretched out, they should fit on perfectly. What we are going to do now, though, is get the Man of Steel himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And I'm about to do it. I'm gonna use the P word. This guy is perfect. For me. Now, you may be screaming at your device saying, Justin, why the caveat? Well, keen night viewer, the reason why I said for me is because not everyone likes this art style. Therefore, if you don't, then you're probably not going to like this Soups either. His proportions are weird. He's got these big round shoulders, he's bulky, he's wide, but kinda squat at the same time. His features are super exaggerated. I mean, just look at the hair. The colors are really saturated, so if you prefer the more muted look for Soups, once again, yeah, this guy probably isn't for you. But if you do like The Dark Knight Returns like I do, yeah, this is a safe bet. It pretty much looks, depending on the posing, like Frank Miller's artwork come to life in 1/12 scale. Up close and personal, kicking things off with the head sculpt first. You'll already know I really like the head sculpt, but on the body it looks even better. The skin tone match between the neck and the head sculpt is perfect. It does look a little bit small compared to the rest of the body, but I think that's done by design, so it makes his body look even bigger. I mean, as a whole, the proportions are kinda funky anyway. He's kinda squat, really wide, and his hands are massive, so yeah, I have no problems whatsoever with how they've done these head sculpts. See what I did there? These head sculpts, then we look at the next one. I'm so sorry, I had to. The battle damage head sculpt fits in the same way. It doesn't fit too low, and it doesn't sit too high either. I personally can't say I'll be using this one in my display, but if you wanted to, yeah, this is totally an option. Now, if I did have just one complaint, it's how the cape attaches to the body. Now, normally, Superman's cape would tuck in around the collar area. Okay, maybe you don't want to do that, because that would mean having a big crevice for it to slide into. It makes perfect sense, but tucking it underneath the pecs is also kinda weird. Now, the pecs are a separate piece. They do look relatively seamless, although, as you can see, the cape very clearly juts out the top. Now, the wire does continue underneath, so it's not like you can't work with it and get it to look good. But when the cape spreads out, you can see some blue underneath, and you start to realize, oh, his cape is coming out of his pecs. Yeah, as I said, a little weird. The cape itself, though, is really good. It's this heavyweight textured fabric. I love the red. You've got the S-shield, although technically not accurate to The Dark Knight Returns. I'm still happy to see it here. Down below, a really thick wire, then along the sides, you guessed it, wires as well. Now, out of the box, it comes pre-pleated, so for me, I'm probably going to leave it pleated, because, as I said, I like the way this looks. Around the front, the S-shield is big. It's broad, just like Superman himself. It's sculpted in, and the paint, for the most part, is crispy. It sticks to the lines. I love the choice of red, and I love the yellow. This time, it's way more saturated, unlike the Hush that was a little bit more muted. Okay, that may be accurate to Hush, but overall, I think this guy looks way better. Now, the suit does have some wrinkles sculpted in. You also have a ton of musculature. I love the blue. There is some shading in the crevices, plus it's got a matte finish over the top, so yeah, it looks really high quality. But I guess that's to be expected from Mafex at this point. They know exactly what they're doing. Gone are the days of their figures falling apart, although sometimes people still have those issues, but I haven't yet. This guy looks really good. His trunks are red, his belt is yellow. There is also some shading on the trunks. There's even more shading on the legs and wrinkling, and oh no, they haven't just taken the mold for one leg and flipped it. As you can see, the wrinkling is different from one side to the other. Then coming down to the boots, once again red, and you can see how big his legs really are. Plus, he does have that extra flap of plastic on the outside, so from the outside, it looks way cleaner. As compared to the inside, where you can see that ugly ball joint. Yeah, I love that Mafex do this, and I kinda wish other companies did as well. For a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have Soups on the left by Mafex, and Armored Batman on the right, also by Mafex, review coming soon. As you can see, the Dark Knight is a little bit taller. He's also bigger and broader and beefier. He's just overall a more substantial figure. That makes sense to me because we all know Batman was already huge in The Dark Knight Returns. You pop on all the armor, he gets even bigger. Next up, here we have my current favorite Mafex Batman, being The Dark Knight Returns Triumphant. He's ditched the armor, he's ditched the spiked boots, and even though he's no slouch, he's still pretty beefy. He's now a little bit shorter than Soups. It's always interesting to see two very different, very unique takes on the same character by the same company, but that's what we have right here. Hush doesn't have the wire along the bottom of the cape. Really annoying. I didn't know how much I liked that until I got it with Dark Knight Returns. It just makes the cape a lot more manageable. I also prefer the bigger, more muscular body. I like the colors better on Dark Knight Returns. Granted, I am partial to that book, it's all going to be down to personal preference. Whereas this, I don't think is personal preference, one is just quite clearly better than the other. On the right, DC Multiverse, the cape is plastic, he is a lot cheaper, he is bigger, but that head sculpt, oh man, it is so ugly. I know that the art style wasn't super pretty when it comes to people's faces, but that head sculpt, as I said, it's just hideous. Going over articulation, do bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. Starting off with the head sculpt, it's on a double ball peg and the neck is on a ball joint as well. Looking forward and back, swivel, and a ton of pivot side to side. The arms will go up to there. They will go forward and back, butterfly joint at the shoulder that also hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow that does go past 90, plus a hinge and swivel for the wrist peg. The torso will crunch forward to there, going back to there, swivel as well as pivot. The legs do drop down just a little, going forward to there, but they kind of swivel out just a little, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee, hinge and swivel for the ankle, plus of course, toe articulation. Wrapping up on the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Soups. He's dope. There's no two ways about it. This is a really good figure. He's very stylized. He's not your usual Superman. However, if you are a fan of The Dark Knight Returns, you've been wanting a Superman to pose up alongside your armored bats, this is the one right here. He looks just like the artwork, he's swole, he's well painted, he's really well sculpted. I like both head sculpts, I like the kryptonite arrow, I love the cape. Overall, yeah, I'm just really happy. I wanted this version of Soups in a high quality format forever, and finally Mafex have come to the table and delivered an exceptional figure. Is he the best Superman figure ever? For me, yes. But for you, maybe not. It all depends on whether or not you like this particular style. Now, if you are heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.